How to Astral Project According to the CIA by Revelo Project. I'ma drop a like my video. I will admit that I definitely have seen the document where the CIA teaches this shit. I didn't actually read it, you feel me? But I know what they're referring to, the document and shit, you know what I mean? The gateway experience.
This is the first step along your path to a gateway beyond which is discovery, your own discovery of reality, of truth, of who and what you are.
Is it possible to have an out-of-body experience?
Yes.
Is it possible to read someone's mind?
Yes.
Is it possible that the very nature of the reality you live in every day is an illusion?
Yes.
Well, the CIA wanted answers to these questions, so they studied them. And according to them, the answer to all three of these questions is yes. And now that the CIA has declassified these documents, there is literally an in-depth, step-by-step process on how to escape the confines of your perception and leave behind that which you call reality. So without further ado, here is the Gateway Project.
Come on, tell me.
The 37-page document and 11 tapes were declassified in 2003. A CIA-hired scientist and mystic, Itzhak Bentov, was tasked to assess the gateway experience process as a part of the CIA's wider investigation into whether concepts of mind control and hypnosis could be used in espionage efforts of the Cold War. So the CIA was like, oh wow, we found the secret to the universe. But how do we weaponize this against our enemies?
Of course, as they always do.
But before we dive into how you can perform these mystical acts, first we must explain the very nature of the universe according to the CIA. I know that may sound...
I thought I was gonna say, before I get to it, subscribe to my fucking website. Like, nigga, promote your shit for sure, but that would've, you feel me? Damn. But, nigga, I'll promote some shit. Subscribe to my Patreon. I have an Astral Projection course down below, nigga. Check that shit the fuck out. You feel me? Like my video.
But
fuck
let
you
me break it down for you. To set the stage, we need to invoke the three concepts of quantum mechanics, theoretical physics, and consciousness. This will create a mental framework of the world we live in. These concepts will help you bridge the gap from the physical to the spiritual. In doing this, they wanted to demystify the process by studying the phenomena in a scientific manner and remove the stigma of its occult connotations. The paper...
Well, occult kind of just means hidden, you feel me? You know, there definitely is occult connotations. A lot of this shit, you feel me, does take place in the hidden levels of reality, you feel me, that we don't see with our own two eyes. But anyway.
It starts by claiming that the process uses basic techniques of hypnosis, transcendental meditation, and biofeedback to achieve supernatural realities. Now that we have briefly profiled the techniques for altering or expanding consciousness, we may proceed to explain to you what those techniques actually entail.
Jiu-Jitsu. I'm going to learn Jiu-Jitsu.
The Gateway experience is a training system to give you enhanced focus, coherence, and strength in your brainwave frequency. You then gain access to various levels of intuitive knowledge that the universe offers. What is unique about Gateway and its hemisync technique is that it syncs both hemispheres of your brain to create one unified energetic organ, the result of which is an altered consciousness, which has expanded both beyond the physical sphere and beyond the restrictions of both time and space. Accessing such a state for a long period of time was proven to be extremely difficult, but what was once a rare phenomenon is now easily accessible to anyone, including you. All you have to do is learn how to train and focus your brainwave energy. The human mind in its natural state acts very similar to a lamp. This mental state expends energy in a very chaotic way. Heat and light are being diffused over a wide area. This is an inefficient use of energy, as it lacks both depth and focus. However, the human mind, under the discipline of hemisync, acts more like a laser beam, producing one disciplined stream of light, the energy of which is so concentrated and powerful, the document compares it to having the same qualities of the surface of the sun. This focusing of energy is like the yogic concept of one-pointedness, intense focus, and mental stillness.
And that's the things to be understanding, bro. You need to be able to focus to astral project, bro. You actually need to be able to focus, my nigga. No cap.
A state without mental wandering or distraction.
If one keeps his mind, his energies, and
Shout out Sadhguru, man. You feel me? All the OGs know Sadhguru for a fact.
his consciousness organized in one direction for a certain period of time, everything could be explored by human consciousness.
The gateway process states that once this point is achieved, the mind has the opportunity to accelerate to higher and higher levels. Where your focus goes, your energy flows. Thus, you must be pointed to a higher
Where attention goes, energy flows. Niggas do be saying that shit all the time, ain't it?
frequency if you wish to achieve a higher vibratory state. That which you resonate with, you attract, and more importantly, become. This process is referred to as synchronization. The gateway tapes open the door and allow you to synchronize with rare and higher frequencies of the universe. These are not usually available to you in a normal state.
Now think how nice it would be, how nice to float out and away. How nice that would be, how pleasant, how calm, how serene. Now detached easily, let yourself float up slowly, up and away. Calm and pleasant and serene, floating upward, floating upward.
The information you receive in this state is much like a dream. Your mind will interpret the meaning it receives, usually in the form of symbols, flashes of holistic intuition, or even in the form of scenarios involving both visual and aural perception. However, this is just a sample of the extrasensory perception available to you once you master this process.
Create now in your mind, or just simply think about it, a personal energy conversion box.
I will say so far, I mean, this shit is, you feel me? I mean, I don't like the whole imagination shit, but you know, so far, I mean, you feel me?
Visualize or simply think of a large, strong box with a heavy lid. A box so strong that it
I mean, I guess at this point, this is talking about, I'm going to assume that this is just a imagination technique to relax and not to leave your body specifically. So if that's the case, I'm not mad at this.
contain and hold anything you put into it. Think of such a box now. Now raise the heavy lid of your energy conversion box and place in the box for the moment all of your physical matter, worries, anxieties, and concerns. You will not need them during this exercise, and
You see, if we're gonna imagine stuff for visualization, I'm not mad at that. You feel me? I mean, my fault. If we're gonna imagine stuff for relaxation, you feel me? I'm not mad at that. But after you're relaxed and once you're leaving and shit, I don't like imagining shit then. You feel me?
they will simply get in the way.
Before you learn how to access these dimensions, you must learn the holographic nature of the universe. The universe is composed of interacting energy fields, some at rest and some in motion. It is, in and of itself, one gigantic hologram of...
Yeah, I mean that's quantum field theory right there. You feel me? That's quantum field theory, and you know science is currently trying to, you know, find a grand unified theory or a grand unified field theory, which pretty much unifies all these separate fields into one great field. You feel me?
unbelievable complexity, of which you are a smaller local hologram. And we are all interconnected, like nodes in one giant network, which we call reality. The collective consciousness of mankind acts as a kind of driving force for the reality which we live in.
On the very highest level, which is the high spiritual level, we are basically overlapping completely. Everybody is overlapping everybody else. In other words, everything and everyone is everywhere. In other words, we've become omnipresent. This is a state of highly spiritual perfected beings, or gods you may call them.
The program explains how we can attune ourselves and merged with the larger hologram, saying, "The human mind is also a hologram, which attunes itself to the universal hologram by medium of energy."
You could say that because a hologram is pretty much something that when you split it into separate pieces, that one piece contains the whole. So, for example, let's say that this water bottle was a picture, right? You feel me? Let's say that you have a picture of this water bottle, right? If you took this pixel, right? You took one pixel right here, right? If you took that pixel, then expanded it, inside that pixel would be a picture of the whole entire water bottle. You feel me? And it's like that with the universe and with our mind. You feel me?
Exchange. So there is one large flow of consciousness which we call the universal hologram. In that, every living being emits an energy field which makes up the collective consciousness within the universal hologram. Then there is you, a tiny node in this larger network, creating your own personal hologram, a hologram made up of your energetic output. Holy shit, that is wild. But does that mean that we are merely hallucinating that which we call reality? And
In
are
a
we
way.
collectively manifesting the entire world that we live in, whether
Essentially.
unconsciously or consciously? Well, according to the CIA, the answer is yes. Kinda. Because what even is an illusion, if this were true? And more importantly, what is reality? At this point, you might be saying, well, I know that I'm real. I know what I see, smell, touch, and taste. But at the end of the day, all those are simply just sensory inputs in your bodily system. They are just signals being sent to your brain. The document goes on to say that contrary to what everyone knows is so, it may not be the brain that produces consciousness, but rather consciousness that creates the appearance of a brain.
Isn't that crazy how people don't know that already? You feel me? Isn't that crazy how that's like a fucking like a theory? You feel me? Not like just typical knowledge.
But consequently, it is the quieting of the senses and the relaxation of the brain that will allow you to experience these otherworldly realities. But to go out of body, the combination of an internally quiet state, a raising of frequency, and a syncing of both hemispheres is necessary. In doing this, you have set the stage for the out-of-body experience, and thus, the gateway is open. Matter and energy need to be decoupled as concepts in your mind. To comprehend the gateway process, you must understand that the difference between energy and matter is a false perception. Science now knows that both the electrons which spin in the energy field located around the nucleus of an atom and the nucleus itself are made up of nothing more than oscillating energy grids. The universe is just expressing itself at different oscillations, frequencies, and forms. This CIA document is basically stating that matter itself is an illusion, and that the fundamental particles of which we call matter are just small pockets of energy moving at different speeds. The point to be made is that you,
The
your
quantum
brain,
fields.
consciousness and all, is like the universe which surrounds you. Nothing more or less than an extraordinary, complex system of energy fields. And the objects you see as matter are actually variances in the energy grid around you. Once you tap into this, all forms of magic, mysticism, and miracles will enter your reality. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the ocean in a drop. Transcend your limited perception by going through the gateway, and suddenly paradoxical sayings of mystics throughout the ages begin to make sense. Up to this point, our discussion of the gateway process has been relatively simple and easy to follow. The CIA has now explained the universe in its most fundamental form. The next step is to show you how to
there is a part
transcend
two.
the very
There's definitely a part two. So I'll watch part two for y'all. You feel me? Drop a like and put down part two if you want to actually watch part two, and I'll make the video for y'all. Without further ado, I'm gonna end the video right here. I love you. Catch my next video. Peace the freak out.